And there's also been a lot of concern among members of the public, but I think there ought to be some recognition. Jeff Pruitt, who is here, Scott Spalding and his brother, who have the Downtown Fort Wayne Baseball blogspot that put tremendous numbers of PDF documents relating to the Harrison Square up. Mr. Pruitt, who has taken parts of council video and excerpted those on YouTube and made those available on blogs. I began making MP3s available of audio, and there's been a reaction to that and a lot of progress, and Mr. Clark's to be commended, and our Christopher, our city webmaster, in working on this. But given tonight putting PDFs of our ordinances up, I think that's something we want to continue so people can follow along at home. They've got the documents in front of them. Getting audio MP3s up, not only of City Council, but also of things such as the Redevelopment Commission, the Planning Commission, and the Board of Zoning Appeals. You know, there are a lot of people that watch the City Council meeting, but I actually think the Board of Zoning Appeals would be sort of like the Judge Joe Brown or Judge Judy of Fort Wayne city government that would draw interest both to cable access, streaming video, and for audio for people to download and listen to on podcasting. But a lot of people deserve credit, and I think the city's on track to continue those efforts.
We've got technology gurus there that I'm very impressed with. Tim, and then Karen Goldner.
I think we ought to do this only if we can make it revenue neutral. I think that in a digital age, we ought to be able to do that. We ought to be able to not have it increase the costs of government. I completely applaud your effort to get government many avenues and many medium as possible to the citizens, but I think that the challenge is not to add costs and burden to government, but to be at least flatline those things.
Well, and that's kind of the interesting thing, if I may. Also recognize Steve Parker, who is here and is a blogger, and I think what a lot of the folks who are doing the weblogs were showing, this is publicly available, free software that's available, and hosting services that are really available to any citizen. And certainly under Indiana law, they're entitled to record meetings. Most documents can be saved as a PDF and can be posted either on free websites or on the city at no cost. Interestingly, Mr. Clark may want to speak at another time, but the city had bids, as other cities have done, to do the video streaming. Vendors, $60,000, $80,000 to provide it. Our city webmaster downloaded free software from Apple on QuickTime, placed it on the city server, and spent all of $30 and change to download QuickTime Pro as an editing software, and they've got the city council meetings on streaming video. It is so cost effective, and I think bloggers like Jeff Pruitt and Scott Spalding showed the way. This stuff is available for citizens to do.
Karen?
Last week at council, we were asked in the form of a letter whether we would want to participate in kind of setting up an ad hoc or short-term public access board, for lack of a better term, to try and I guess discuss some of these issues and others in maybe a little bit more depth than we're able to at the end of a meeting. And I was just, I guess, inquiring of the president whether that was something that we were going to do, or
That's possible. I've got an idea on and Councilwoman Brown and I have been talking about the Light Lease Fund, $40 million Light Lease Fund. I think we need to take a proactive approach towards that. I know that the mayor is going to be, you know, it's going to be something that's in the forefront and the back of his mind and what he needs to do. It's only a year away, 2009, and I'd like to form some kind of a committee, if we could, you know, bipartisan, you know, if we wanted to, from that, you know, keep it open to the public from the aspects of what we need to, you know, what their vision is and what their plans and what they think that we might want to do with that $40 million. I mean, I know myself personally. I mean, I see it as a huge savings that we have, and we don't want to relinquish it ill-advised.
What was your question?
I think that's wonderful, but I wasn't clear, I guess.
Okay, maybe
What I had understood the request to be was something that would allow us to look at how do we make public information, both from the council, through the clerk's office, through the administration, not just council, how do we make that information more
okay, I
accessible to the
apologize.
community?
I misunderstood.
Sure, no, so I mean, I think what you're talking about with the fund is wonderful, but this is a little different. And so I was just asking whether that was something, I mean, I don't even know how we as council would do this. I mean, how we would initiate it, maybe if there's a few folks who are interested in getting involved with the people who requested it. I don't think this is being asked as some sort of big formal, ordinance committee thing. I think it's just a task force to get some stuff done to work with the administration.
I think it's a great idea. I had the chance to talk to both Scott Spalding and Jeff Pruitt last week, and obviously Mr. Clark is already ahead of us anyway, but I think it may not be completely cost neutral, and I just want to make it clear, since I sort of started a firestorm the first or second meeting amongst all the other meteor showers, that I didn't mean to suggest that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing in terms of public access. We keep a video and it's accessible in the city clerk's office, but it is not as accessible as I think the citizens would like it to be, particularly in this internet age, which some of us have just finally come upon. So I think besides a VHS tape that anyone can watch in our office, I think, which is completely legal and what we're supposed to be doing, I think we could do something
Take it a
at
step-
little or no
take it a
cost.
step further is what
and
you're
take it a
asking.
step further. And those gentlemen have offered their services, but, it's open to anybody, and I would be the last person to want to be on that.
Councilman Hines?
And I was just going to suggest that Clifford be involved
Absolutely.
only because he and I have been working with the Knight Foundation on talking about putting a canopy over the entire city, having access to the internet, which is a whole nother discussion. But
Right.
if you could imagine those people that are not at home at television watching, since you're talking about video streaming, you'd have the ability in a delayed time basis to be able to still have access.
Yeah,
to
I
that.
agree with you, because
there's
for
a
me-
lot, excuse me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on the table, and I think what we're asking for is coordination of effort, so that ad hoc committee, whatever it looks like, could meet at the library, as I think we've had before, meet at the library and have additional discussions.
Right.
And I think we need necessarily the president's approval to do that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you stream that meeting?
I don't know. I can't. Say somebody can.
No.
But I also want to point out that I think that this is more than just a council discussion.
right.
It needs to include the administration, because there's a lot of other public information that's discussed. So do we just sort of say, I mean,
Well, like
Say
Glenn
let's
said,
do
it's
it
not
and-
it's not the president's,
Okay.
decision on that aspect.
So
I
we
mean,
just sort
it
of
could
do it?
basically,
I guess if there are people who are interested in this, let me know, and,
Yeah.
we'll...
and I like what
Are you
Glenn
out?
says, because, from this, not everybody has cable. So
Right.
not everybody can watch this.
Right.
So from that vantage point,
Right.
it's somewhat unfair so that you can see it.